What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. So even though new cards and expansions definitely changed the arena meta quite a bit, the basic concept has pretty much always kind of been the same. You know, you draft a deck, you pick 1 out of 3 cards, you get paired against people with around the same record as you, and you go until you get 12 wins or 3 losses. But arena actually could have ended up being quite a lot different if the developers had made quite a few decisions back in the day. So join us today in taking a look before the release of Hearthstone to find out what Hearthstone's arena could have been. And if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely hit that like button and let's begin. Now, the early development version of Arena was originally called The Forge. Initially, the Forge used card packs as the entry fee actually, and it let you keep all the cards that you drafted and rewarded a ridiculous amount of packs, but also took quite a while to play. For example, one early version of the Forge involved earning a pack for each win above 4, with 10, 15, and 20 wins granting 5, 15, and 30 additional packs respectively. So that's quite a lot of information actually from just that one sentence. You know, first of all, using card packs as the entry fee is a pretty interesting concept, but I guess it's kind of irrelevant considering that they developed the currency of 100 gold, 100 gold being pretty synonymous to that of a card pack. Now, letting you keep all the cards that you got is pretty interesting, but does present quite a few problems. You know, first of all, Blizzard still does want to make the same amount of money whether you're keeping the cards or not, and so if you were allowed to keep all the cards, the entry could easily be 500 plus gold, if not more, for just a single run. Second of all, and this was definitely Blizzard's official reason for changing it, if you get to keep all the cards, then sometimes you kind of just end up drafting the cards that are worth more, or maybe cards that you don't already have, and you pick the cards in the draft that you want to own rather than the one that just makes the best possible deck. And as a result, that does compromise the competitive integrity of Arena a little bit, since players won't necessarily always pick the best cards that are the best for their deck. Still though, there are maybe a couple problems with this argument. You know, first of all, the 3 cards you pick from the arena are always the same rarity, you know, so in terms of drafting a more expensive card over another, that's never going to happen, and they're also never golden, which means that if you have to choose between maybe a Ragnaros, which you already have, or maybe a Mimron's Head, which you don't already have, a lot of the 1200 dust you lose by picking Ragnaros can be made up by how much you stand to win with better cards in your deck, especially when Arena used to reward up to 30 packs, since you could get actually 20 wins, that is 2-0, so it didn't stop at 12. Additionally, it's not like people will always make the right picks as long as they don't keep the cards, so the competitive integrity aspect's a little bit questionable, but it's not unreasonable, I guess. You also have the factor that Arena's typically more of like a for fun game mode rather than like this super intense, highly competitive one, but you know, even the best Arena players and streamers often make kind of random choices that some people would disagree with because they want to like test out a new card that they've never played with in Arena, or just kind of like as a joke or whatever. There's a bunch of different reasons why players might want to not choose the best card sometimes. Either way, Blizzard decided that they didn't want people keeping the cards anyway, but this actually probably ended up being for the best, honestly, since it definitely did lower the entry fee a ton, to the point where Arena is accessible to everyone on a very frequent basis. Now, the reward structure was also a lot different back then, so let's talk about that. So presumably the maximum was 20 wins, which is definitely an insane amount, 8 more than we already have. And you also got 1 pack for each win above 4, and 30 additional packs if you hit 20, which means that if you did pull off the dream, the 20 win run, you were winning 46 packs. Now obviously it's a lot harder to get 20 wins than 12, but this reward structure was still completely insane, so Blizzard did end up toning it down and reducing the entry fee. Now none of this is to say that Arena today is bad value. In fact, it's more how many players first get good at the game and start building their own collections. Still though, sometimes it can feel bad getting 12 wins and not really getting that many rewards for it, so maybe it'd be nice to see some sort of like heroic arena mode, kind of like how they released Heroic Tavern Brawl for Constructed, if that makes sense. Like a version of Arena that's still Arena, but just with a more expensive entry fee and rewards that scale accordingly. Now once most of those things were changed, the Forge was renamed to the arena as we know it today, and the key system of rewards was introduced. But there were still quite a few differences from what we know today. First of all, the keys only went up to 9 wins, so the best possible record was just 9 wins. Arena was later changed to having 12 wins at some point in December of 2013. Additionally, Arena also originally gave 5 rewards regardless of record, which means that if you did really badly, you went 0-3, you would still get 5 rewards, all of which could be 5 gold each or 5 dust each or something equally terrible. And Blizzard decided in late 2013 that this wasn't really that good of a reward system since players didn't enjoy getting like really minuscule rewards, but more of them, and as a result they changed it so that the number of rewards players get scale with how many keys they get. And after this point, the only major changes that have been made to the arena have been the card exclusions. This began with like the promo cards like Elite Tauren Chieftain, Gelb and Mechatork and stuff being taken out of the possible pool of arena cards since they were promo only cards, and then with the release of, Whispers of the Old Gods, Blizzard decided not to put Cthulhu or any Cthulhu related cards in the available pool of arena cards since they were just too synergy focused and you'd really never get Cthulhu anyway. And later when Purify was spoiled and the community reaction just destroyed the card, Blizzard also decided to remove that from Arena, and then soon after they decided that they kind of liked this tech and they removed 45 more cards from Arena in a massive patch for the sake of balancing the classes, trying to make the classes more on the same level to one another. It's interesting to see that Blizzard pretty much has left Arena alone for a very long time and then progressively started, taking out some cards here and there, made more and more changes, and then they smacked something pretty big on us recently. It's definitely really nice to see that they're finally paying attention to Arena as a viable game mode, and hopefully they'll continue to balance and change it until Arena is at the best that it can be. So let's talk a little bit about future changes that we could potentially see in Arena. Now, Blizzard has removed a bunch of class cards in hopes of balancing the classes, so it's not too big of a stretch to assume that they'll continue doing that style of balance in the future actually. The only question here is how often are they really going to balance Arena? Hopefully the optimistic answer is maybe once every expansion, but knowing Blizzard, they might only do so every 2 or 3 expansions to be honest, when Arena's like really desperate for that rebalancing. Still though, it's a little bit doubtful that they would decide to just not make changes at all, so honestly, I'd say that I'm pretty optimistic for the future of Arena, at least in that sense. And Blizzard has shown a lot recently that they're much more willing to actually make changes to the game, try to rebalance things, make improvements outside of just expansion releases, which is definitely a nice shift in their design balance philosophy, which is definitely going to be for the better in the future, and I'm excited to see what changes they might make. Now, we also touched on the fact that while the rewards are balanced and awesome, the 12-win key does lack a little bit of a sense of accomplishment at the moment, since beyond, just a better reward, extra gold, maybe an extra pack, you don't really get any kind of like leaderboard or like competitive thing, or you don't really get any really big rewards. So it'll be interesting to see if Blizzard decides to address this or maybe implement something to cater to like the very, very, extremely competitive arena players, like that top 1% of the most competitive arena players. Maybe they add like arena elo or like a ranking board or some kind of card back, I guess, for getting a 12-win key with every class or something like that. I don't know. Those are just some ideas, and they wouldn't really cost Blizzard any additional money other than the design and development time for whatever new thing they decide to implement. Although if those kind of things incentivize more people to play Arena, they'll probably more than pay for themselves actually. Another thing that Blizzard could do is maybe give like a really, really epic, awesome reward for 12 keys, like a guaranteed legendary or maybe something else, but at the same time, increasing rewards for Arena does indirectly lose Blizzard some amount of money because, if people are getting legendaries from Arena, they're less likely to spend money on packs, right? So while we definitely do expect some changes to Arena in the future, even if they're just removal of certain class cards from Arena, I'm definitely excited to see how the game mode develops in the future, and it was fun taking a look back at what Hearthstone Arena could have been. So those are some of our thoughts on what Arena could have been based on the development information we have, as well as some other stuff. So what would you guys have liked to see Arena maybe become? Definitely let us know in the comments section below, and looks like that's going to be it from me. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.